Hello everybody, welcome back. If you're struggling to break away and break free of scale patterns and boxes on the guitar, then today's video is for you. When we learn scales, of course, we have to break the fretboard up into smaller, manageable pieces, the scale patterns we all know, and that way we can memorize them and learn them and kind of figure them out. The problem is, when it comes to melodic playing, to improvisation, to soloing, we don't want to be stuck in positions. Also because we're all in the same position with the same fingers, and so we all kind of end up playing the same way and sounding the same, which is kind of the antithesis of why we picked up the guitar in the first place, to express our unique voices. And so there must be ways that we can learn the patterns but then break free of them. And today I'll show you a great way that you can use. We're going to focus on one of the most problematic scales when it comes to boxiness, which is the pentatonic scale. We're going to go with the minor pentatonic scale. And if you've ever played blues, rock, or any similar style, I'm sure you've run into this. Right? And then, oh, maybe it's in another key, so... I'm playing kind of a different thing, but really, we all know that it's kind of the same thing too. Now, multiply by a year or two, and then you'll end up always playing kind of the same licks, just at different pitches, which is really not what we want. And so, to break away from all that, today we're going to focus on 3 positions of the minor pentatonic scale, and this is just for me to be able to teach you this, and then you feel free to apply it to anything. You can do it through the whole fretboard with the pentatonic, you can do it with the major scales, the minor scales, the modes. Pretty much anything on the guitar can be done with this little method. If you're on my Patreon, you'll be able to download everything on PDF, but if you're not, feel free to take a screenshot of everything that pops up here on the screen, or copy down a piece of paper, whatever works, whatever you need to learn. That's the important thing. Okay, so here's the 3 positions we're going to work with today. The first one is the one we all know, in the key of A minor pentatonic. Right, classic. And then we're going to expand on this a little bit, backwards on the fretboard with this position. And then a bit forward on the fretboard, a bit higher in pitch on the next position up. So at this point, I suggest you stop for a second if you don't know these positions yet, and at least copy them down, have them in front of you, or better yet, memorize them. Okay, so once you have these, let's continue. Very well, so the first step after memorizing the positions is to take just 2 of them, 2 contiguous ones, and we'll go with this one and the one before it. And we're going to take actually 1 string at a time. Sounds a bit crazy, but follow me. So we're going to start on the 6th string, and we're going to put these 2 positions together as if they were only 1 position. So we have fret 3, fret 5, and fret 8. Now, you can play like this, but you don't have to. Don't worry about it. All I want you to do now is take those 3 notes and play with them for a minute or 2. I know they're very limited, they're just 3 notes, but you can just... do what you can. You know, there are limits to this, of course. You only have 3 notes. But get used to the feel of having these 3 notes spread out in this way on the fretboard. This is only going to take a minute of your time, and you'll feel much more intimately connected to how these 2 positions relate to each other. Then, you might have guessed, once you're cool with that, we're going to add the string below. And the string below, if we put it all together, will be 3, 5, and 7 on the fretboard. Right? And we can play a little bit on that string, or proceed to putting them together 6th and 5th. Right? And just improvise a little bit with only those 2 strings. Now, the palette gets expanded dramatically when you add strings. So with this, you can actually do a lot. Right? It's also fun how you can find the same note in different places. This opens up a lot of opportunities. You know, I won't spoil it for you, but it's a lot of fun. And then you keep going. So you add the 4th string. You might want to spend a minute just on that one. Right? And then put it all together. right? If you want to have just a little backup group behind you, a little groove, feel free to do that, or just play melodically. And then you keep going, of course. Third string, the second, and the first. And now you have, in your mind at least, one big position that goes from fret 2 all the way up to fret 8. Now this is a wonderful thing to have. It's like a full instrument by itself. And then of course we'll improvise by using both positions at once as if it were only one. I will spare you the improvisation, but just really quickly so you can see it happening. As you can see, I'm using the wrong fingers sometimes because I really want to stress the fact that I can see the whole thing at once. And you might even not worry too much about how beautiful or how great it sounds, and focus a bit more, at least in the beginning, on simply really trying to prove to yourself that you can see the whole thing as one big position. So now that we've done this, we're going to do the same with this position, the same one, and the following one. And it's the same thing. We start on one string, find our little melodies there, and then two strings, and then three, and so on. Once you have all of them, you will again improvise. Whatever you can, just to prove to yourself that you can see them. Okay, so this might take a little time. If you're done with this and you're still hungry for more, I'll give you more. And now we're going to put all three positions together. And so we'll go very quickly. You have to do it by yourself. There's nothing I can do for you. As you know, in these videos, I don't lie about that. I give you the idea, I show you how to do it, but then it's all up to you. And so what we'll do is take the first note, of course, of the first position, the lowest one, mix it with the first two notes of the middle position, and then of the higher position. And now again, we go through the whole thing. Improvise only on the sixth string. Add the fifth string, which will be this. And or whatever it is you want to play. Add one more, and so on, and go through the whole thing. And eventually you'll end up with something like this. And now, of course, you should try improvising and playing by using this whole thing as if it were a single shape. And don't worry again about sounding great, just explore. I'm certainly not worried, and I'm playing in front of a bunch of people, whereas you can do it in the privacy of your own home, so feel free to explore. And again, maybe stress more the fact that you can see the whole thing, and you can prove it to yourself by truly jumping around rather than being cautious with it, right? We don't want to be cautious, we want to be free. And so you know, just really go as crazy as you can. Put some headphones on so you don't worry about what other people think, and explore. It's a wonderful feeling. So this is basically it. Again, you can take this as far as you want. If you are on my Patreon, I will make a video maybe stretching it a bit more, or even trying it with different scales. If not, you can figure it out for yourself, I'm sure. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. It really helps so much. Thanks again. See you on the next one.